It's time for, hello, a Jersey Shore recap podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Welcome.
Oh, hi.
To season 2, episode 2. Did you get the name? What's it called?
The Hangover.
And there are indeed hangovers.
Oh, we're going to get into it. This is your host, G-Wow.
And I'm Cookie, and we are Cookie and G-Wow. Let's just jump right into it because they certainly do. We pick up right where we left off with the guys and Angelina at the club.
Yep.
And it starts with them leaving and getting ready to come home. We left everybody on the cliffhanger last week. Let's talk a little bit about what went down with Ron at the club.
Yeah, Ronnie knows he's being a dick. I feel like he gets out of the cab after calling Sam the C word. And then he goes in and he starts going with some grenades. And it's actually hilarious because at one point he's like, yo, how hot are these girls? And Mike and Polly are like, no, dude, what? Which, whether or not you think the girls are hot, I just thought that was so funny that like the beer goggles, I guess, were there. And because he did say he was like blacked out, like he's claiming not to remember any of these events that we're recounting.
Which I actually kind of believe him. Sometimes other people, like I remember like Angelina last season cheated on her boyfriend, was like, I don't remember. I was like, yeah, you do, girl. But Ron I actually believe because he seems like the type to purposefully bring himself to that level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that, and I think when they remind him, I think he starts connecting dots and like having some jolts of memory, which I also think when the girls are like, nope, I don't remember a single thing. It's like, okay, because typically when you do blackout, I mean, there's definitely times, I mean, this doesn't happen to you. There's definitely times when you're like, no, I don't remember a single thing. But a lot of times there's things that you'll never remember. And then somebody says something and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I remember. And I feel like, I think Ron might have kind of gotten some glimpses in his mind when they started recounting things to him, because at one point he was kind of like, yo, did I do a 3-way kiss? And so that's why I mean, like, it starts to jolt his memory. So I think you're right. It's true. But yes, he does 3-way kiss 2 girls in the club at bed.
Am I just a total prude, or does that look absolutely unappealing? Why would anybody want?
I've done 3-way kisses, but they're not for the camera.
Well, what is the fun of a 3-way kiss? Because I feel like, okay, here's what I'm imagining. So when you kiss somebody, you go mouth to mouth, right? So your mouths are touching. When you 3-way kiss, you've got cheek to cheek. There's faces touching faces, sweat and grease. That's all I can think about. Just
everything's smushed in, and you just kind of push up your lips to try and get them all out, or your tongues up.
Yeah. And really, you're not really kissing because you're not making enough lip contact. So it is a lot of just rubbing your lips on their face and calling it a kiss.
It's not something you could do for more than 10 seconds.
I think the idea of it is funner than the execution, I would imagine. Do you agree? Go.
Yes. I think it's like a funny, crazy thing. Like it's like you do it more to say you did it than to actually do it. But that's, I think, what he's going for.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Blackout Ronnie loves the controversy. Well, I guess Sober Ronnie does too.
What else did he? I mean, I know he put his face in girls' boobs. He was making out dancing. What else did he do?
Also danced with multiple. What is the quote? I'm quoting it. Don't get mad at me.
Grinded with multiple
fat women. Oh, it's right there. If you're watching on Patreon, Gina, aka G-Wow's background is the note, and it says right there, was grinding with multiple fat women.
Honestly, poetry at its finest. But I mean, this is what happened the first night at bed. I mean, these are literally facts. That's where we'll get to the note.
Oh, we'll get to the note.
But these right now, we're at the actual events. These are literally things that happened.
Do you ever look at moments of history that are only written down and you think, yeah, it's great that I get to learn about this, but I wish I could have seen it. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall and experienced it. That's what this is. We get to experience history.
I mean, thank God we have this footage, or else the note could be hearsay.
Right. Exactly. What would I do if I didn't have evidence of the 3-way kiss and the grinding?
Now, here's the thing, though. None of that would have been a problem. I mean, calling Sam the C word is a problem, but let's say that he did all those things and him and Sam stayed broken up and whatever, then that's just single Ronnie being single Ronnie. And there's kind of no issues there. However, he doesn't just go do him, as they say. He wasn't just he went and did him, but then he goes back. He knows he's being a dick. And then he brags to all the guy roommates, which is even worse because it's not just like you did it. You're bragging about it. So you know you did it. And he's saying, I did this. And watch, I'm going to go sleep in bed with my girl. Ha ha ha. And then he starts like evil laughing because he knows that that's a shitty thing to do.
That was really gross. That is another moment of Ron being proud of how awful he is.
He thought he was the man. He was like, look what I can get away with. And I like that the guys kind of don't fully back him up. I mean, it's not like they go and rat him out because at the end of the day, they are his friends. And to be fair, if one of my friends was acting a fool, I'm not going to go rat her out, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, go get it, girl. I'm going to be like uncomfortable, eye rolly and kind of like, okay. And that's kind of how the guys are like, they're all like, yo, Ron is in the I'm fucked foundation. He's the president and the client of the IFF. And we know that this isn't going to end well because we know what he did isn't good. And I don't know that any of the rest of them, even Mike, would go to the level Ronnie goes to.
Right. It's not even the being an asshole. It's the proclaiming to everybody, I'm about to go be an asshole. And it's hilarious. It's like
full ownership in this disgusting way. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm taking accountability for my actions. It's like, I'm accepting my villain role and I'm going to play into it and watch what else I'm going to do. It's so uncomfortable. It's so cringe.
So the moment after he describes this to the guys, he does go and get into bed with Sam. And she says to him, did you do anything? And he says, no, I love you.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Mama,
I feel for
garbage.
Sam. I feel for Sam because what is that? Who treats people like that?
We have a particular view of this that Sam didn't have. And seeing this and her not knowing kind of makes me understand why she didn't fully blow up on him when she got the note. Because when she got the note, all it said was like, there was some debauchery in the club. I don't think she fully understood until probably a year later, the extent of what he did.
So a little behind the scene, I've been on some of those, Jersey Shore Reddit threads that are blowing up on TikTok right now. And so this episode aired, it's airing on TV in August of 2010. Now in the summer they're filming, right? And so they were about to start filming season 3 and maybe that would have been in July or June, but either way they knew that the cast was going to be in the house when the Miami footage was coming out. They already knew that Sam didn't like take the note the way that they were expecting it to. And so I think that it like the producers, I mean, I'll get into more of the tea of like the creation of the note, but I think because the note didn't lead to Sam's eyes being opened, they decided instead of waiting till they're out of the house to deal with all of this, that's at this point happened, 6 months or more ago, they're like, let's show Sam everything that's about to air this summer while they're filming. And immediately after, she is to go into the house with Ron, which again, we'll get into season 3 then. But that's like everything that's happening now. She doesn't know about any of the truth up until she's right about to see him again for the next season. So that's kind of dirty on their account too, I think.
On production?
Yeah, why didn't you show her earlier? So before we get into kind of the next day, do you want to maybe take a little break?
I think we should.
Okay.
Can't get enough of hello?
Never.
Well, check us out on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at hello pod.
And if you are listening to us, but you'd rather be watching, you can go to patreon.com/hello. There's also going to be tons of bonus content, including bonus episodes and behind the scenes, like how I got my Snooki pove.
And last but not least, if you're a brand or you just want to give us money, send us an email, a professional email at hellopod@gmail.com.
All right, let's get back to the show already.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, we're back.
This episode is freaking packed.
I have to say, we don't normally do this. We usually like to go with the flow, but our notes are both so long that we had to, during the break, we had to be like, let's figure out what we're going to talk about and when, because there's way too much going on. We're losing track of the timeline.
Yeah. So sorry if it feels like we're kind of skimming over certain things, but it's just because there's so much drama in this episode. They do have some kind of wholesome moments where they're kind of going through these day activities. And, those things, as cute as they are, aren't where the drama is. But I do have to note, of course, the $395 sunglasses that Snooki bought, the bling ones that, she got $2 off on those.
Now, on what planet are those worth $400? Unless,
No
I
way.
guess, if they were Swarovski crystals, then I could see it. But those were goddamn rhinestones from a craft store. That's $50 max.
Yeah, and Angelina's not with the girls though. She goes with the guys because she's doing that whole problematic thing of like, oh, I just get along with guys better. And
Where do they go?
When they eat somewhere, and I think during this, Ronnie does admit that he still has feelings for Sam. He still loves Sam. So.
Which, I mean, kind of obviously, I wouldn't have doubted that for a second. I know he's acting like an asshole, but I think it's because he's confused by his own feelings.
True. Very true.
And then the last little cute, quick moment is when Mike was getting ready to cook a good old family dinner, and Snooki drops the whole marinating chicken on the floor. Which
no, Snooki doesn't drop it. She opens up the refrigerator and it falls. That was Mike's fault.
Mike put it in wrong. And tried to blame Snooks. Snooks was just the first person to open the fridge.
Mike even says whoever opens the fridge, it's going to fall. Well, then why the fuck did you put it like that, idiot? Like,
and then not inform the half of the house that wasn't there.
That makes no sense, but I do think it's hilarious because Snooki and Vinny are the youngest ones, and they're the ones that are literally like standing in the doorway like helpless children, like, Mike, what do we do?
They do go to him like he's their dad.
Dad, we dropped it. Dinner's ruined. What do we do now?
I will say one thing about me is I would have cooked and ate that chicken.
I would have too. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, rinse it off, put more barbecue on. Like, it's fine.
You're cooking it. It was raw anyways. It was already covered in bacteria anyways.
How dirty was that floor? Did you like?
Well, plus
they just got there.
Chicken is famously one of the dirtiest meats, so it's already covered in bacteria and germs. What's a little floor dirt gonna do to it? Nothing.
Exactly. I guess this is supposed to be a family dinner night because Mike was like gonna cook and all this, but that goes awry. And then there's two major fights that happen, and the first one, shocker, is between Ron and Sam.
And this one was a little bit uncalled for. Sam kind of goes through the phone book and notices that Ron wrote down one of his ex's numbers. And go, whose phone number is this?
I mean, she could have handled it different. Like, she could have waited, and then when they were talking, been like, by the way, I know that it was wrong of me, but I saw that you like had your ex's number. Were you planning on calling her, or am I? Can I trust you? There's just like a mature way to handle that, even if she was upset. And she just went and was like, what the fuck is that? All right, then you do you. All right.
I usually blame Ron, but it was in this one where she goes, whose phone number is this?
She's antagonizing, yeah.
And he's just like, yeah. And she's like, done. It's over, Ron. Done.
Bye.
And then she locks herself in the bathroom, and he tries to get her out, but she refuses.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let me just say the phone keeps ringing off the hook for Angelina, and it's making everybody pissed.
Oh, yeah. And apparently she's on the phone all day. Now, what do you make of that? Do you think it's well, obviously it's because she's not friends with anyone in the house, I guess.
I think she's just uncomfortable and doesn't know what to do with herself. So she gets on the phone because she's like, oh, at least like one, I'll have something to do. And two, it'll make everybody here see that like other people like me. I have friends. I think that's it.
Well, anyways.
Speaking of Angelina.
Now there's a little argument, a little very famous argument. What starts it? I don't remember.
The girls have been drinking, I think, and they are talking in the room like kind of they're airing out without Angelina their problems about her. And I think that they just get some alcohol balls and decide to go confront her. Because to be fair, this conversation was coming. And I think that maybe if Angelina had opened it up sooner, it might not have been so hostile. But instead, she like comes in and tries to just like sweep it under the rug and be like, it's fine. And she doesn't ever really like address anything. So then the girls confront her head on. Snooki actually starts it by being like, what the fuck? Like, I know you've been talking shit.
But you're right. That did take some balls to go and be like, we were talking about you, and like that's ballsy. But Angelina,
I respect being able to be like, I don't want to do this behind your back. We're going to do it to your face. So that's a
well, like you said, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. It was a matter of when. And so they confront her, and they're talking about how she apparently has been talking shit about everybody off air, like between seasons.
Yeah.
And she refuses to own up to it.
I was going to say she really doesn't take accountability, which is really the problem. I think that if she said that was wrong of me, I just felt left out. So I talked shit. I'm here to make amends. I think that they would have been more receptive, but she's just like, no, I didn't do that. No, who even is that? No.
Exactly. Her whole thing was, I just want to be friends with everybody. Meanwhile, she came in like, fuck these bitches. But she was like, I just want to be friends with everybody. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just here having this experience with you. You can stay and get your fucking ass beat.
Well, okay. Now, this is one of my favorite moments, and we're gonna actually read this as the quote this week.
Oh yeah.
But one of my favorite moments is when Angelina says, "What friends am I talking shit to?" and Jenny says, J420, Joey Yanks, and Bill.
What kind of a name is J420 and Joey Yanks?
And then Bill.
I guess Joey Yanks is a little more like it's probably like Joey and his last name Yank is probably like a short version.
But then and Bill. J420, Joey Yanks, and Bill.
J420. I'm gonna name my firstborn J420.
Which it took me years to be like, oh, like weed 420.
I mean, yeah, but what a stupid name to like go by.
I feel so like
funny.
I wonder if this is
G420.
This G420.
I'm changing my name right now.
That is so funny. Wait, can I be Cookie Yanks then?
Yeah.
Hold on, we're gonna change our names on Zoom. I'm
G420.
Cookie Yanks. We're so funny.
We are so funny.
Ah!
Oh my god, that is hysterical.
Oh yeah, so but once again, Angelina refuses to own up to it. She does not admit to talking to J420, Joey Yanks, or Bill. And Jenny threatens her, as Jenny does. Threatens with
Jenny's like,
violence.
you should just leave like you did last time, because if you stay, you're gonna get your ass beat. If you stay, you're gonna get your ass beat. If you stay, you're gonna get your fucking ass beat. And if you stay, you're gonna get your fucking ass beat.
Right. At least she provides her with options. At least
those 4 options, A, B, C, D.
No, because I feel like getting your ass beat and getting your fucking ass beat are very different. So there were options.
Well, the other option is to leave. The other option is to leave. So those were the options.
And this is another kind of thing where because Angelina refuses to own up to it, it was not really resolved. It just ended.
They just stopped. I think they realized like whatever, we got our anger out. It's going nowhere at the end for now.
And then once again, the phone rings.
Yeah, Snooki answers it. They're like, is Angelina there? Snooki goes, no, she died.
And then the funny thing is the guy calls back like, what? When? How? Like,
really? Because I felt like he wasn't that concerned. He was like, he said it like, Angelina died? What happened? He was so unconcerned. And Angelina picks up and she's like, I didn't die, asshole. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. And then the last moment before we go to break, once again, Mike the instigation.
This is prime Mike the instigation. The investigation, the instigation.
I feel like on season 1, he was trying to insert himself into drama and be part of it. Whereas in this one, he's more like, let me have fun with other people's drama. Let me feed
into... To be fair, though, Ronnie had told JWoww what happened.
Right.
And then JWoww was like, oh, I know. And Mike was like, oh, so you know? Well, now that you know, I want to talk about it. Just in his defense. Like, it's not like he went being like, hey, I'm going to tell you this information that I shouldn't be telling you. He was like, oh, you know, oh my God, I've been dying to gossip. Let's kiki now that you're in the circle.
That's true. And all the guys were, so, okay, I don't even think we said what happened. So all the guys found out that Jenny knew about all the stuff at bed.
Yeah.
Sam, the first night at bed, that bed. And so they're sort of talking about openly. Nicole's there too, Snooki. So she's kind of hearing about it. And I think Mike just said,
yeah.
He said the quiet part too loud.
Well, I don't think that Snooki knew anything. And so this was all new information for her, which I don't know. I think that at this point, Ronnie should know, like, if you're telling JWoww or Snooki something, they're probably going to tell the other one.
I think he wanted it to get back to Sam. I just don't think he wanted to say it. But I think he wanted to have it out.
I think you're right. He did not. He was really avoiding the confrontation. And can I just say, as they're kind of recounting the night and they're talking about him hooking up with these grenades and stuff, I forget who says it, but they go, we're promoting a grenade-free America. I just thought that was so funny.
Now, what would you have done? Because there's sort of a girls' code versus guy code thing going on where the girls stand up for each other and the guys stand up for each other. But this
Yeah.
is a moment where the girls find out about something that happened to Sam and didn't say anything. So I wonder, like, what would you have done immediately after finding that information out? Would you keep it to yourself? Would you say something?
I don't know. This is tough because at this point, literally everybody in the house knows except for Sammy because Angelina was there. The guys were all there. I don't know if Angelina knows about like that last comment, but even without the comment, it's still, I mean, they all know that he at least got in bed with her. And so with Snooki now knowing, it seems like everybody besides Sammy knows. So I don't know. I think it would depend on how close I was with Sammy. If she was one of my good friends, then I might pull her aside and like try to calmly tell her. I know that wouldn't go over well, but it also feels very much like inserting myself where I don't belong. So I don't know. If she asked me, I would be honest, but if she didn't ask, I don't know. I don't know.
It's so tricky. I listen to advice podcasts sometimes just because I like the hosts. And this question always comes up every time, inevitably. I know something. Yeah, I found out my friend's boyfriend is cheating on her. Do I say something? That happens so often. And it's such like there's no correct answer.
But this one is that it's both their friends too, though. It's not because if it's like my friend's boyfriend, of course I'm telling her why. I don't know the boyfriend anything. But if they're both my friends, then what?
That's true. Yeah, I always think of them as being closer to Sammy at this point, but they are all 8 friends. So
I don't know. It's hard because I'd want to stay out of the drama, but then, like I said, if she asked, I wouldn't lie.
Well, let's take a break and we'll talk about the rest of this one.
Yeah.
Hey, G-Wow.
Hey, Cookie.
Do you like electro pop music?
Of course.
Well, I love electro pop music, which is why I make it. So I'm going to play a song for you right now. And if you like what you hear, make sure to check me out. You can find all the links on my social medias. I'm available at Angel Iconic Music.
We're heading through a wormhole, baby. You better run, we're coming to Earth. And if we like it there, then we might stay. You're a world that has more than you deserve.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, indeed.
So we are back and it's not the summer, but they're here kind of in summer-esque. So they need their quote unquote summer job. And they are not going to be going to a t-shirt shop. They're going to be going to the gelato shop.
Let me just say really quick, summer, at least in California, summer is not a season. It's a frame of mind.
That's probably how Miami is.
I was going to say, it's probably the same there too. Summer is a concept.
Do you think that Enzo, their new boss, will hold up to Danny?
No, not in the slightest. I think we won't see much of him.
No, I don't anticipate there being much work. I wonder how Angelina feels about it, though. And Paulie's not into it because he has to wear a hat to cover his hair, even though, his hair, it's on move.
Yeah. So Angelina, that's right. She got kicked off because she refused to work, which, by the way, I guarantee that wouldn't have happened this season. I think that was the season 1 thing only.
Yeah.
This rule that you have to work to stay.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think that even though they're going to be at the gelato shop, I don't really anticipate us seeing that much of it. Honestly, we didn't see that much of the t-shirt shop, even though Angelina did get kicked off for not working. So,
God, I wish I wish so badly I could have gone because I want to know if they're actually scooping gelato or if they're literally just standing around shooting the shit on camera at a gelato shop. Like, I want to know so bad. Like, do people go up to them and go, can I have a sample? No, I don't like that. Can I have a sample of that? No, that's not good. You know what I mean? That whole annoying thing. Because here's the thing about me is when I go to an ice cream shop, I'm so afraid to ask for samples. So I just pick one and order it. I never get a sample.
Oh, see, I do a sample myself because I like the sample spoon and I like to eat my whole ice cream with the sample spoon. So I ask for a sample, even if I know what I want, I'll ask for a sample of something else just to get a little taste. And then I use the spoon for whatever I do want.
Well, that's what I like about gelato versus ice cream. And they're in a gelato shop is the gelato always comes with a microscopic spoon.
Well, and it's got the Italian, hint to it that they always have to have.
Oh, I didn't think of that. That's a good connection.
Oh, yeah. I've had gelato from Italy and it's incredible.
Anyway, so that literally came and went so fast. We spent more time talking about it than they showed it on camera.
True. And then after that, Ron does this really like hyper masculine problematic thing where he's like, I need to feel pain, so I'm going to go get a tattoo. And Sammy's like, I'll go with him. I'm always there for you for this self-inflicted pain that you've optionally chose to do. I'm always here for you,
Thank
babe.
you. Thank you for bringing that up, because that is what I wanted to talk about. This weird dynamic they have of when he's getting the tattoo and he's like, ooh, like making faces. And she's like, I have your hand. I'm holding your hand. I'm here for you. It's like, baby, he's getting a tattoo. He sat and chose to do it's not like he's getting a surgery. Stop it.
And
Talking
I've
about it like
sat through lots of tattoos and like, yeah, they hurt. But like my worst tattoo, I didn't have anybody holding my hand there. So what a little bitch you are, Ronnie. Like,
when here's the ironic thing. This is why Ron is just, he's quite the character, isn't he? He says, I've been feeling upset, so I want to feel some physical pain. So I'm going to go get a tattoo, right? Okay. Okay, whatever. So then he's getting this tattoo. And then he says, the tattoo was so painful. I was so glad to have Sam there to hold my hand through it.
He says that holding her hand made him feel better.
Isn't that why you went? Didn't you go because Sam caused you emotional pain, quote unquote? What a character.
I hate it. And he actually is crying when he gets the tattoo. I'm like,
is he crying?
Yeah. I mean, I understand like he sitting for 4 hours for a tattoo is rough, but I've done it. Also, again, he chose to do it.
And I have heard that ribs are one of the worst places to get a tattoo pain-wise. But this is sort of the reconciliation moment. They've edited in like sweet soft rock music. And I think we as an audience are supposed to be like, oh,
I think we're supposed to be rooting for them.
They made up. I'm so happy for them. And when in reality, we were all like, run, girl.
I'm not rooting for them.
No, I'm rooting for them to never see each other again.
Oh, I hate it.
Can I tell you the moment for some reason? I don't know why this is the moment that made me feel like, oh, like for her, it gave me like almost heartbreak. Was when he was getting the tattoo and she like comes and sits right next to him and is like holding his hand, kind of stroking his arm. I don't know why that made me feel so sad for her. It just like put a pit in my stomach. Do you know what I mean? That like,
yes.
Oh, like he's such an asshole and she's trying so hard. Ugh.
I do feel bad because she's not a bad girl, you know?
No, I mean, she was young and dramatic and messy and chaotic, but I never got the impression that she's a bad person. Whereas I do think Ron is a bad person.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. So they're going to go out again. And I think bed is like their Miami karma.
Very that. Yeah. And it's the same vibe. It actually kind of looks similar inside. It's the same sort of club.
Yeah. And this is another big historical Jersey Shore moment, because this is the first time that they explain t-shirt time and the shirt before the shirt. Do you understand the concept of the shirt before the shirt?
Oh, of course I understand the shirt before the shirt. Because
yes.
You're getting ready. Sometimes you maybe get a little sweaty. Getting ready it's hot. And you want to make sure that when you leave the house, your shirt is completely fresh, stained and ironed. You want to walk into the club as fresh as possible. So you put it on the moment you're leaving the door. I get that.
And so before you have that shirt on, they have what they call their beaters, which
can you believe we all said that for decades? I think people still say it.
I think people still call them that. I mean,
I think it was I don't know. I think it was like one story of a guy who was like, the cops were outside of his house and he came out in like that tank top. And that's why they started calling it that.
I saw some TikTok where these Americans were saying like different Americanized Italian things, and they were like, what do you call this? And I forget what they called it, but they had just like a random word, like the way tank top is, like some random word, and they were like, oh, in America we call it a wife beater, and all the Italian people were like, what the fuck?
Out of context, it's in context too, but when you're used to it, it doesn't
horrible.
When you're used to it, it doesn't sound so bad.
I used to think that people, because I never really heard it called wife beater, I just heard it called a beater, and I thought people were saying BEADER.
Oh.
I didn't know what it meant for a while, and then once I was like, whoa, when that glass was shattered. Yeah. So anyway, they have on these tank tops. It's horrible what I'm saying. And then once it's right before it's time to go out and they're going to put on their real shirt, that's when it's t-shirt time.
Holy shit. Season 2 is where almost all of the things were introduced.
The Jersey Shore-isms.
Yeah. We got one last season, which was Gymtown Laundry.
Yeah.
That was just one the whole season. They're packing them in this year.
Yeah, we got Cabs Air and we got the shirt before the shirt and t-shirt time. Those are big. Those are big things.
And we got smushing
and
last
we got
episode.
the smush room.
Smush room, yeah.
Wow. I love seeing all of this come to fruition.
And then Angelina was incredibly drunk getting home from the club.
Yeah.
And she, for some reason, was really irritated with Polly and would not leave him alone. What do you make
she
of that?
she was mad at him at the club. So they were at the club and she was mad because not even mad because she was like trying to call him out because he was hooking up with some girl who was engaged, which Polly is like, I'm not going to date her. That's on her. I don't care, which whatever. If I was making out with somebody in the club and then somebody told me that would be my exact response. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not trying to date her, so whatever. Mm-hmm. And Angelina just kind of keeps butting in and is kind of cock blocking and is being really weird because like she keeps saying, I love you. And he's like, why are you saying, like, I think she was trying to say it as like, I'm looking out for you. I love you. But considering their history, that was a pretty weird thing to say.
Yeah.
And then she's like following him around, cock blocking him. It's like, what is your problem, girl? You're obsessed. Back off.
Do you think she had a crush on him?
Absolutely. Even when she's in the kitchen and she's just like crying and stuff, she's at one point trying to say like, I just don't want you to hook up with married people or whatever. But then on the next point, she's like, I want to marry you. I love you. I've been thinking about you a lot. And literally, what the fuck is happening?
Alcohol.
Like, girl, what are you doing?
Alcohol makes the truth come out. But in her defense, though, I think it's a personality thing where, like, for me, I'll be vaguely interested in somebody, and then I get drunk, and I'm like, I've never been so in love with somebody. And then the next morning, I'm like, no, I'm fine on that. We don't have to. So it's like alcohol for some reason makes me like fall in love with people. So maybe that was the case. Maybe she doesn't like really have a crush on him. Maybe she just was. I don't know.
But they did hook up and stuff. And she was saying before she came into the house that she was talking with him and true. Mike. And she even made a joke in the first episode. I don't think we mentioned it, but like when they were finding the beds, she was like, oh, if I hook up with one of you guys this season, whatever. Yeah. And so I think in the back of her head, she kind of was like, maybe that'll happen. I think she wanted it open for possibilities. And I don't think that she cared whether or not she ended up with Polly or Mike, but I think she wanted one of their attention. And so I think that Polly was just there, obviously not giving it to her. And I don't know, drunk, like you said, alcohol brain, but she's literally following him around like such a puppy dog that's what makes Polly snap.
Well, and then I think what put it over the edge is she gave him just a little slap. A little slap.
Yeah. Who does she think slap. She is? JWoww? Girl?
Well, that's the difference is that JWoww wouldn't have slapped him. She would have socked him. She would have given him a punch.
No, but I think that Angelina keeps taking things from other people's playbooks. Like in the first season, Snooki threatened to leave and then everybody loved Snooki. So Angelina threatened to leave and instead she fucking left. Jenny had punched Mike and somehow brought everyone like together afterwards. And I think that she was like, oh, this is the format, this is the template, this is like the formula, so I'm gonna hit him even if like punching back her little back whack isn't her thing. I think she was like, I'm gonna just do it. I think she was just mimicking what the other girls were doing.
That is a great point and I agree with that. And before we finish up with Angelina and Polly, can we quickly use this as an opportunity to spill some tea we found out after we recorded season 1 about the punch? Because we didn't know this until I didn't know this until a few days ago. But
I have so much updating to do on this fucking chart with them all hooking up with each other. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, because production, they like to keep stuff from us. Apparently, on season 1, in the house when they were filming, Jenny hooked up with Mike as well. Because if you remember, they showed her hooking up with Polly, but she also hooked up with Mike, I guess, and started to develop a crush on him. But production didn't want us to know that. They didn't want that to be part of the storyline. So that's why when they were at the club, when Jenny saw him hooking up with girls, that's why she wanted to go home, because she was jealous.
Well, and I was like, why does she specifically need Mike to go upstairs with her? Like, why Mike? And that's why, because they had something that we apparently weren't privy to.
Anyways, that was season 1 tea.
But that's how it leaves off is Polly doing that little scream at Angelina.
With Polly yelling. It was the first time he's ever really gotten visibly angry like that on camera and yelled at somebody, I think. And she goes to like grab him and he says, "Are you touching me?"
Yeah, he he kind of like jumps back, like, don't even try it. Like, and you can see the veins popping out on the side of his head. Like he's actually pissed because she's been poking. Paulie is a nice guy. So he's been trying to just be like, yo, go to bed. You don't know what you're saying. And she wouldn't give it up. So she's pushed him to this boiling point.
And he says, me and Mike were all you had in the house. And now you don't have us anymore. So going forward, you have nobody in this house.
Ouch.
Damn. Ouch. Even, I mean, I get it because it's Angelina, but ouch. That's a hard thing to hear.
Wow.
That's fucking brutal.
Wow.
You probably needed to hear it though. She needed that wake up call.
Man. Wow.
We're not done just yet. We have one more thing.
Our cookie quote. There's been so much drama this episode that we're going back to one of the first fights that happened, but this is an iconic fight between Angelina and JWoww. So we're gonna recount this here.
Can I be Jenny?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right, you started off.
You ran your mouth to my best friends.
To who? I want to know their names.
J420, Joey Yanks, Bill.
J420, I only saw him one time. I want to be cool with everyone here. I don't even want problems. I'm here. I'm having this experience with you guys.
You're not having shit with us.
I'm going to be here forever.
You want to get your ass beat? You can stay and get your ass beat. You can stay and get your ass beat, or you can stay and get your fucking ass beat.
All right.
Plain and simple.
Scene. Amazing. I mean, Jenny went off.
She certainly did. That was iconic. I love that one. I say that all the time. You can stay and get your ass beat. You can stay and get your ass beat, or you can stay and get your fucking ass beat.
Those are the options, bitch. Damn,
God.
this season.
I'm exhausted. This season is so much. It's taking it out of me.
Literally exhausted is an amazing word to use. And we're only done our second episode. Love it. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hello. Bye. If you want more of the podcast, you can follow us on any social media at Hello Pod.
We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/hello. We've got a video feed there so you can see our beautiful faces while we recap Jersey Shore. And we've also got a little bit of behind the scenes bonus content for you.
And you can find me anywhere online at The Lead Regina, including my website, theleadregina.com.
And you can find me online on TikTok and Instagram at angel.iconic.music.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.